Good morning. Today I thought we'd talk about morning routines and why they are so important. In the morning, usually I go for a walk, and this is what we woke up to. Oh well, it's awesome. Love the rain, but I'm gonna wait a few minutes and stick around with you while the rain calms down. It should calm down in a few minutes, so I'll still go on that walk. But first, I'm gonna make some cuffers. Wow, this rain is really intense. So this morning I thought I would talk to you about my morning routine and how to yourself install and design and install your world-class morning routine. Why is a morning routine so important? Because your morning ritual is the number one thing you can do. Oh, hi there. This little guy decided to join me in the morning. He is a partner of my mornings. He is always there and close, and when my husband's still sleeping, this little bugger is going to come over and say hi. And when I meditate in the morning especially, he's over here. Hi, you were not planning this video. What are you doing? All right, let me put it down. So yes, your morning routine is the number one thing you can calibrate and really automate in order to create results. Getting results in your life, in terms of you setting goals for yourself, whether it's a nutritional goal, whether it's a physical exercise related goal, whether it's a professional goal or one in your personal life, in your marriage, in your relationship with your children, or for a passion that you have or a business, those results are only the byproduct of you wiring habits one after the other and making them automatic in your daily life. So as long as you take care of the front end of your day, the rest is going to follow with it. So that morning when everyone else is sleeping, when no one is actually watching you, that's when you build not only the skills that you need to continue and make progress and make strides towards your goals, but it's also the one thing that's going to build that character about you. No one needs to know what you're doing. You don't necessarily need to share it on social media. Oh, this morning I did this. If you want to do it, go for it, really. But you have to take care of that front end of your day. What is a world-class morning routine? What does that look like? I can talk about mine, but I will also send you recommendations for books that you should absolutely read that will really help you determine what works best for you and what is going to serve you in the long run. I do splash my face with cold water in the morning, and then I make coffee. After that, I sit down on a couch. I find that meditating first thing after I wake up is hard because I have a tendency of wanting to fall asleep because I'm not still awake. So usually I'll try to do something that will really kind of wake me up. One thing you can do is exercise. Getting all that blood flow and that heart pumping really quickly in the morning is going to kickstart your day for sure. Sometimes I am feeling myself so groggy that I'm just like, oh, I don't want to exercise right now. So what I'll do is I'll put on a jacket and I'll just go for a walk. And just the idea of going on a slow or a gentle walk is not as daunting as saying, oh, I'm going to get in a full workout. And once I'm out there, I'm pretty awake, I'm feeling better, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can maybe jog a little bit, and then that follows through. If I meditate or exercise first, so those are usually interchangeable. I will always read, so I'll do some reading for a good 20-30 minutes. And in the moment, I'm reading The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. I've been reading a lot of good comments about this one, and I've been meaning to read it for a long time. So what I'll do is I'll read, but it's not just like, oh, let me read it and get inspired and all that. I'm intentional about my reading, so I'll read, I'll take notes, and then from here, I'll open it up, and then I'll copy some of the quotes and some of the parts that I find are going to serve me in the long run. And then from here, sometimes some of these quotes or some of these parts of the book are going to make their way into my planning for today. So this is kind of a brain dump of all the things in the morning that I think like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I have an appointment with this person. So I'm not at the stage where I'm planning my day yet. I'm just basically dumping everything that I could be doing or that I should be doing during the day. And then from there, it's kind of a process. From there, this is my scheduler or calendar, and this is where I'll usually go hour by hour. Okay, these are the priority items. I'll put a little star on the side. You see one here. These are the items that I really need to get done, and I'll put them in my passion planner. Lovely. Another thing I do a lot, and I don't do that necessarily every single morning, but I'll do it at least once or twice a week, and just as it comes. I'll write down my visualization for the short, medium, and long term. So in this moment right now, we're dealing with this whole coronavirus. We're sheltering in place. So I am visualizing what I want for myself, what I want for my marriage, what I want for my business, what I want for my community once this is done, once we're on the other side. So basically what I do is I'll write down, okay, this is what Elizabeth feels like. This is what Elizabeth accomplished. This is what Elizabeth thinks about. This is what I am recognizing happened during that period. And then from there, you just backtrack. What are the habits and what are the actions that I need to take in order to get there? And those usually make their way into my list. Because, of course, it's all good wishing and hoping and visualizing, but you need to have an action plan, and these need to happen. So that's another thing I do in the morning. In terms of affirmations, I just got this chalk pen that you can use to write on your mirror. So every now and then when I find an affirmation that really speaks to me, that I find I need to be reminded of daily and constantly. So what I'll do is I'll write something on my mirror, or you can leave yourself Post-it notes around the house to really help you with affirmations. So that's something I really love to do. Not necessarily just in the morning, but throughout the day. And then finally, a little later in the morning, maybe around 9 or 10, or sometimes around 11, I will make myself a breakfast. And on weekdays, it's always the same breakfast. It's always my oats with chia seeds, with hemp seeds, with fruit, and some nut butter, either peanut butter or almond butter. I'm sure there are other great breakfast ideas out there. Some people love smoothies in the morning. I just like something warm, so that's why oats. And I found that this is the breakfast that really keeps me satisfied the longest. And I've just automated it. So in the morning, I don't think, oh, do I want 1 toast, 2 toasts? Do I want cereal? Do I want this? The least amount of, the fewer decisions I make in the morning, the better I am in the long run, because then I'm not completely draining my brain from that decision-making capacity. Because in one day, our brains make so many decisions that by the afternoon, by the evening, I don't know if you're like this. Some people don't make great decisions throughout the day, especially in terms of nutrition, in terms of exercising. And then they're like, when they get to the afternoon, they start snacking, they start having dessert and snacking in front of the TV and all that. And I'm saying this is not judgmental. This is me. This is what I used to do all the time. I would just push those decisions, and at the end of the day, I just have no capacity to make smart decisions. So I try to automate everything as much as I can in the morning, so that I don't have to, so that I still have some juice left in the afternoon. Another thing that you will maybe notice in my morning ritual is that and nowhere I mention anything about my phone or looking at my email. And that's something you have to heavily resist. And be mindful. Be mindful of your it's just that automatic grabbing the phone, checking your email in the morning. And that blue light in the morning, it definitely wakes you up. So that's something I used to do to kind of wake myself up, because that blue light going through your retina, it really wakes up your brain. So I would always look at my email or look at or scroll or whatever and spend a good 30-40 minutes in the morning just mindlessly browsing and not really getting much out of it. And I would try to convince myself that I was learning stuff, that it was actually productive, because I would click on articles from the New York Times, or I would click on blogs that are fitness related. But at the end of the day, it was so non-intentional that it didn't serve what I was really striving for in the moment, in the goals that I had for myself. So in the morning, I resist the urge to grab my phone and watch and look at my emails, because of course, if I do that, then all the people that wrote to me during the evening or the night before, all these people, all these messages are the forefront of my brain, and I can't think as clearly. So you really need to start your day fresh with what you want and need to do that morning, that day, and then the rest will kind of make its way in. So I try to delay the moment I open up my email as much as possible. Same thing with social media, or messages and all that. I really delay that as far down the line as I can. It will usually go until, and I wake up at 5, so maybe 4 hours later, around 9 or 10, that's when I try to, then I'll kind of catch up with what happened during the night. So that's one thing. So you're gonna tell me another thing you're gonna tell me is, Elizabeth, I am not a morning person. I already wake up at 6:30, 6:15, 6 o'clock, and it's already way too early for me. So there's multiple things here. One, go to bed earlier. Really, go to bed earlier. It will mean sacrificing maybe watching the news in the evening. It will mean sacrificing watching Netflix or watching series or whatever it is in the evening. But it's extremely important that you protect your mornings. And by protecting your mornings, it also means that you have to backtrack a little more and go into your evening. So your evening routine is extremely important. I'll make another video on the evening routine as well, because that evening routine is really that preparation for the morning. The only reason I can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and not that it's easy, trust me, every morning I'm like, why do I do this? And I remind myself, oh, yeah, last night I was actually kind of excited about waking up at 5 because I really wanted to get all these things done. So you really have to be extra mindful and intentional in your evenings. So your evening routine is going to be extremely important in you getting enough quality sleep to be able to wake up at 5. And another thing is, the people that are not morning people like me, I have a good disposition in the morning. I have a good kind of mood, but I don't love waking up early. I do and I don't. Now I kind of do. It's not about inherited genetics, but a lot more about your rituals. And like I said, all those daily habits that you wire together in order to create that flow and that automation. And to be honest, since I've started waking up early like this and spending a full hour for myself, and sometimes it's an hour and a half, I gotta be honest, spending that time on yourself is going to be life-changing. It really is life-changing on so many other aspects. And that victory will happen when no one's watching and when everyone else is sleeping. You're just getting that head start. I've only been sticking to this for not quite a year. It will be about maybe 10 months. And the changes in my life are just dramatic. And it's only been a few months. So I want you to know these a few names that you should really look into. The one I am currently reading is the 5 a.m. Club. Definitely a great read. This one is more a philosophical tale of why and how you should wake up early and what the benefits are, and extremely inspiring. Another book I absolutely love is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And he has also the Miracle Equation, which is kind of a follow-up on his first book. The Miracle Morning is the book that I first read that got me waking up at 5. And he has kind of a different format this morning than Robin Sharma has in this book. And Hal Elrod's book is also a lot more practical. So it's a really great introduction into those morning rituals. I found Hal Elrod's book, I think, maybe easier to start with. I wouldn't start straight away with the 5 a.m. Club. I think I would start with the Miracle Morning. Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. So Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, I actually listened through, and it's an audiobook. You can read it as well. Mel Robbins actually narrates her own book, so that's really sweet. I would highly recommend, that one is a little more on the psychological side of things. So she explains what happens in the brains at different times and with different cues, and what happens with this whole 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 counting down, and how that really pushes you into action. So the 5-second rule is an awesome resource. It will, if you're the type of person that self-sabotages, that really wants to feel like they're not alone with having these thoughts, or like wishful thinking and saying it at night, oh, tomorrow morning I'm waking up at 5, I'm gonna do all these things. The next morning you wake up and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Mel Robbins, she's just so honest and at telling her own story and how she would sabotage everything she did as well. So that's another really good read. These are 3 books that have been absolutely life-changing. So I guess that's it for this morning. This has been a long video. I'm sorry for those who were expecting maybe a short and sweet. I'm gonna work on getting shorter videos. This is kind of improvised. This is one of the first times I do this. What are your morning routines? What are the parts of your morning routine that you really struggle with? Or what are the goals and the things that you wish you could do in the morning, or you wish you could do in your life, and you think that maybe having more help on when it comes to mornings would be useful? So comment below, and I guess I'll see you next week.